I'm Anthony Elmore. Most people in Memphis know me as the 5-time world karate kickboxing champion. Today, I want to talk to you about racism, white supremacy, and how the city of Memphis officials stole and robbed not only me, but they robbed black people in Memphis, particularly us who live in Orange Mound, out of our Black Memphis history. I want you to look at a picture here. This picture, now the man on the left is Mr. Steve Lightman. He is the owner of the Malco Theaters in Memphis. I made history in Memphis in 1988 when I sat down at the Malco Theatre at Poplar and Holland with Mr. Steve Lightman, who watched my 35mm film called The Contemporary Gladiator that I wrote, produced, directed, and starred in 1988. Now, let me explain this black history to you. 24 years earlier, from 1988, Anthony Elmore, you see this picture here, I could not walk into the front door of the Malco Theatre. However, in 1988, I sat down with the president of the Malco Theatre, and instead of paying admission, I was a black man who had submission. Instead of sitting, I went from the balcony to the box office, and that I wrote a movie, produced a movie, directed a movie, starred in a movie, did the music in a movie. I did this 33 years ago in 1988, and I shot this movie called The Contemporary Gladiator in Orange Mound. It was in 1986 when Spike Lee started the independent black film movement via releasing his black and white film, She's Gotta Have It. Two things happened in 1987. Lynn Sittler becomes the Shelby County Film, Tape, and Music Commissioner. Our film project, and I as a film producer, was never treated fairly by Lynn Sittler, as she treated white filmmakers. While I was her first client, she never visited our film set, offered encouragement. Most devastating of all, she refused, as our Memphis Film Commissioner, to publicly acknowledge the production of our black movie, which was clearly Memphis' first independent 35mm film production. Records will reveal her racial discrimination. In the 33 years of her being film commissioner, she has never invited me to anything film related, whereas for decades, she suppressed our 1988 film release and only supported white films and white filmmakers, as you see in a picture of her, of Craig Brewer. Please Google the name Anthony Elmore in LA Times. What comes up is a news story that white racist Memphis Film Commissioner Lynn Sittler do not want the public to see. What comes up in the archives of the LA Times is films going into production. November 22nd, 1987, The Contemporary Gladiator, shooting in Memphis. Anthony Elmore stars, directs, and produces a comedy drama about his own ascent to the pinnacles of kickboxing world. Also stars George Young, Miriam Jones, Julius Dorsey, spring release. Lynn Sittler and the white Memphis media made sure that our 1987 film production was never acknowledged. When we had our August 1988 movie premiere, Lynn Sittler, our paid Shelby County Film and Tape and Music Commissioner, did not attend our movie premiere. Memphis used white supremacy, racism, and black-on-black racism, as well as taxpayer dollars to promote white supremacy. The classic example of white supremacy is the 2018 Memphis movie marker that was authored by Shelby County Memphis Film Tape Commissioner Lynn Sittler. Now, this marker says, quote, "On this South Main Street corner, in 1988, the modern wave of Memphis movie making was born, in great measure through the efforts of Memphis and Shelby County Film Commissioner Lynn Sittler and Shelby County government official Alonzo Woods. Until Mystery Train, Memphis had not hosted a nationally distributed feature film, 16 vendors. Hallelujah." Now, what Lynn Sittler is saying is that black films, black people who are 70% of the Memphis population don't matter. You see, she disregarded and disrespected the fact that in the Los Angeles Times news release, we started filmmaking or modern Memphis filmmaking in 1987 in Owens Mound. Owens Mound is the first community in America built for blacks by blacks. If you're going to have a movie marker, then you must put in that the first modern filmmaking in Memphis started in Owens Mound with Anthony Elmore in the movie The Contemporary Gladiator. While untold in Memphis, Tennessee, the impact of our 1988 Memphis film has a worldwide implications. While treated with white supremacy, racism, and black-on-black racism in Memphis, Anthony Elmore viewing premiering his movie in Nairobi, Kenya in 1990, Elmore was given a hero's welcome in Kenya. Elmore is the first African-American film director, producer, writer, director who came to Kenya to premiere his American movie in 1990. Elmore created more than a movie. Instead, he created a movement that led to the establishment of diplomatic relationships between Kenya and Memphis.
After returning to Memphis, AMP developed his vision of educating and enlightening people about the cultural and economic importance of Africa as a continent, as well as Ghana. At his home and throughout the city, he showcased African artifacts, fabrics, and art. This weekend, on Friday and Saturday both, he'll be honoring Africa at his home and inviting the public, and having a fashion show and an African dinner. I'll be there.
It's July, and that's why we're here at AMP Elmore. AMP has done so much to try to help promote Memphis and international trade with Africa, with Kenya in particular. We've worked with him and will continue to work with him with ambassadors and embassies in Washington, trying to promote trade. It's a logical thing to do, and it's imperative that we have Memphis in the forefront to try to take this as an opportunity to promote Memphis and Africa, and that's what AMP's been doing.
It is indeed a pleasure to have you in Memphis, Tennessee for the World Karate Championship fight between Anthony Elmore and Jeff Hollins. And I guess a question that comes to most everybody's mind is, why are you here? And of course, secondly, we're going to ask you about the upcoming Hagler negotiations and so forth. But first of all, welcome to Memphis.
So thank you. I'm very thrilled to be here. In fact, this is my first opportunity to be here as a spectator, as a supporter for Anthony Elmore. I had the pleasure of meeting him in Las Vegas during a fight some year ago, and I said, Anthony, when is the next fight? He said sometime in June. This is like a year later. And fortunately, things fell into place. I'm here as a supporter. I'm here as a spectator. And I'm very excited about kickboxing because I utilize some of their attributes as far as the skill, the movement, and what have you. And I think that kickboxing is becoming a national sport now.
Well, in fact, Elmore is the guy that you've seen before.
I've seen him numerous times on cable television. In fact, he's one of the guys that I'm very impressed with, along with Tony the Tiger, because, see, they exemplify what Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, and myself try to put into boxing, the entertainment aspects of the sport.
The Wall Street Journal once described Memphis as a backward city with a plantation mentality. Black entertainment television did not emerge until 1980. The Cosby Show did not emerge until 1984, and its spinoff, A Different World, did not happen until 1987. Spike Lee did not emerge with its independent film movement until 1986. In 1981, I was the first person to bring ESPN to Memphis. While Memphis was trying to sell itself as a sports city, Memphis was not ready to accept a new, bold, black and proud African American like me, Anthony Elmore. I met with Memphis Mayor White Chandler, who loved the idea of ESPN, but Memphis did not love a proud, bold black man, and I was not supported in Memphis. In 1982, when I brought ESPN to Memphis for my world title fight, no Memphis company would support our promotion. The Adolph Coors Beer Company signed me as their first black personal service representative. I was the first kickboxer in America to gain a national sponsor. In 2019, Memphis was ecstatic to the tune of giving $5 million of our tax dollars to get the Memphis filming of the failed NBC Bluff City Law. It is ironic that I met Memphis Mayor Dick Hackett regarding bringing NBC Sports World to Memphis. Memphis Mayor Hackett went to the White Memphis Business Uniport Association, whereas they would rather turn down NBC Sports World than to have highlight a black champion who was representing Memphis. You see, in 1983, I fought and defeated John Jackson in Memphis. While I was a world champion, John Jackson was a USA champion, and he fought Tex Cobb on NBC Sports World in May of 1984. Now, take a look at me and my world-class personality on NBC Sports World at that fight in Atlantic City.
I'm Bob Trumpy, and this is Anthony Elmore, reigning world champion at this weight level.
Elmore, the world super heavyweight champion. Anthony, what's Cobb going to have to do? Looks like the kicks are taking a little something out of him.
The only way Cobb can win this fight is to bore in and knock John Jackson out. John is a little bit skillful. He's moving very well. He's throwing kicks. And I'm noticing an interesting thing. John is hurting Tex in the body. Tex got a very strong chin, but I see he's kind of weak to the body.
Anthony, you weigh 215 pounds. These guys are 241. What difference would that make in the ring?
Well, I think that my speed will cause a problem for both guys, which it has.
That round kick to the head by...
While Memphis would not support getting me on NBC Sports World, I brought ESPN to Memphis in 1984. Look at the fight canvas, noticing Memphis, America's distribution center. Memphis did not pay me for that. I was a good citizen and brought Memphis the opportunity to make Memphis a world-class city. Now, look at this picture of Lynn Sittler in the commercial appeal with movie writer John Bifus. John Bifus, even today in 2021, he will not mention me as a filmmaker, has never written a story about me, yet we've done many things. For example, in 2019, when Memphis paid $5 million to secure the failed NB series, I was the first in Memphis to produce the movie 200 Years of Black Memphis History that educates us about our black history. In 2019, while Lynn Sittler and white people in Memphis were excited about corporate welfare of paying $5 million of our tax dollars to the film the NBC failed drama Bluff City Law in Memphis, Who's Who in Black America was attending the grand opening of the Tyler Perry Movie Studios in Atlanta, whereas a black man, Tyler Perry, opened the largest movie studio in America. Lynn Sittler is quoted in the Commercial Hill newspaper about Bluff City Law. Quote, "It broke through barriers by nurturing and hiring a record number of local crew persons of color. Lynn Sittler is out of touch and has a plantation mentality. In 1988, 33 years ago, I wrote, produced, directed my own film. We black people create our own movies, and we're not looking for token jobs anymore. Look at the beautiful Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta."